So we're down at one of the beaches at Sanur today. It's beautiful down here. Swimming's not easy because the tide's low and it's sort of coral, but you need to sort of snorkel out really to be able to do any proper sort of swimming. There's no sort of sun parasols here really. They don't seem to have them, not at this end anyway. And at the hotels, yes, but obviously we can't use those. But if you're sort of here just as a member of the public, then there doesn't appear to be any. So you need to have a tree really, or something like that to get some shade, which is okay. But I mean, I'm not a person that spends all day on the beach now, not really. It's not good for you, obviously. And I live in the sun anyway, so I'm quite lucky for that. So Rena's quite happy. She's got a bit of macan, a bit of drink, and she's sitting under the tree in the shade, which is good. So there's a volleyball net there. I'm not sure who that's for. So walking down to the water's edge, it sounds quite hot. There's a lot of broken coral here, which is very sad to see, but unfortunately that happens. Some of it is down to the weather, down to fish breaking it off, people breaking it off, boats, and just bleached it, I guess. Someone's done a nice little statue here, which is quite nice. It's quite cool. Beach is pretty clean actually. There's a little bit of rubbish, but it's actually pretty clean, you know, which is nice to see. Probably a good idea to have some beach shoes. I mean, I don't have any with me, but it's a good idea to have some if you're here to sort of spend a bit of time on the beach, because it's a bit sore walking on the coral, as you can see. So I guess that's where the sort of edge of the reef is really, which is why. Sorry, the focus has gone out a little bit. So there is a ship out there. A lot of locals fish off this beach. There's always people here with fishing rods, which is nice. So I'll certainly be coming down here later once I live in here. I tend to put everything back that I catch. I don't like to keep it, but that's just personal choice. But a lot of locals, it's a good way for them to get their protein. That's what man's been doing for, you know, almost before time, I guess. Obviously not before time. But it's not overly hot down here because there's a nice breeze blowing. Of course, the only problem with that, you forget that you're in the sun, so you've got to be very careful with the sun cream. But it's fairly quiet here. Not really anybody here. We took the motorbike to what they call Sunrise Beach and parked up near there. So Sanur beachfront is probably about 5k long. I mean, for maybe 6. I mean, we ran it the other week and got just under 6. So some of it you can drive fairly close, but not too close. But you normally have to take a turning and park up, which is cost you 2,000 Indonesian rupiah to go in with your bike. I'm not sure about cars, maybe cars are more expensive, but there's no parking charge when you're there. So if you're going to be there for a few minutes, then maybe it's expensive, but if you're going to be there for all day, then it's very cheap. It's very cheap anyway, 2,000. I think it works out in English money, it's about 10p, probably Australian, probably about 20 cents, I guess. So the bulk of the restaurants are sort of this way. It's a bit quieter this end. but there is restaurants here. If you come up this way, and this is that sort of greyish rock thing at the end there. That's like a harbour, sort of defines almost the end really of where you can go here. And I'm going to be sort of living in that sort of area around there next year, hopefully, all being well. So there is restaurants up this way, but I think there's not the bigger sort of holiday choice is further up the other way, nearer to the hotels and the main sort of strip of Sanur. I'm going to try and do more and more videos of Bali and my move to Bali, and I'll try to share some tips later on, what I've learned about buying out here. And I've said before that foreigners can only buy leasehold, so you'll own the villa or the house or whatever, but you won't own the land. So potentially in 25 years time, which I think is roughly 25 to 30 years is roughly the sort of term of the leases normally. Once you've reached that, then technically speaking, it's the owners, you know. Now you're supposed to hand it back to them as it is. Maybe some people don't, I don't know. A lot of owners will extend the lease for a bit longer because you give them money for that, of course. But potentially, you know, they have an asset. So if they decide after 25 years that they're not going to renew it, you know, they've now got a villa, you know, that they can pass down to their family, you know. So it is a good rule to a certain extent because it protects Indonesian property, you know. Indonesian land stops a lot of foreigners coming here and buying all the land up, and suddenly the locals can't afford it. So it's good from that point of view. So I'm lucky because I'm married to an Indonesian, so we can buy freehold. Okay, so it'd be in Rena's name. Obviously there can always be issues because marriages fail and obviously people die. So I've got protection there. There's like the law here actually is quite strict. I don't know if it's just for Indonesians who are married foreigners. I'm not sure, but she's had to do, before she can sell any property, i.e. the two we have in Jakarta, and or buy any property, i.e. out here, she has to do what they call a post-nut agreement, which gives me protection, which means that I'm also sort of not legally the owner as such, but I have rights to it. So if she divorces me, then I'm protected, you know, and I have the equal rights to half that property. At the end of the day, it doesn't give you 100% rights because apparently divorce out here is decided by the judge. So, you know, if the judge doesn't like you, he or she could well award more to the spouse, you know. And but it gives you some protection, and it's great to have, and you know, and it also, in the event of unfortunate death, which happens to all of us at some point, but in the event of any death to your spouse, then again, as a foreigner, you have some sort of protection. We also have what they call a testament out here. In the UK, we call it a will and testament, or a will. Here they call it a testament, and that gives me some rights as well. So again, something unfortunately happens to Rena, then you know, the property is mine. I will have to sell it because I can't own freehold here, but I think I have a period of time. I'm not sure what that is, but I have a period of time to sort my effects out and in effect dispose of the property. But I don't lose the financial benefit of it. That's the key. Yeah, that's the key. So yeah, it's good. We've got a few other things we need to check before we actually sign on the dotted line, because there's always going to be possible legal issues anywhere you buy, especially when you buy as a foreigner, although Rena's technically not a foreigner. But yeah, buying property is always a bit of a minefield and always very stressful. But hopefully it will go for okay, and hopefully we'll be here sometime in July next year, sitting in our new house. If you have any questions, you know, or comments, if I got anything wrong, please tell me. So I don't want to give anyone any false information. I can't give you legal advice, of course, because I'm not qualified to do that. I can just share what I've learned, you know, and obviously life, isn't it? This is what you learn in life. But say please like, share, and please subscribe. It really does help me. I never realised how important it is to subscribe before I actually started off my own YouTube, but it's very important. It really does help. So So please subscribe if you can. It won't cost you any money, I promise. But thank you very much. So sitting under the tree, there's a wind blowing. It's a little bit warm, but it's not horribly hot. Protected from the sun. So this is great. G'day. The wind has certainly got up since we've been down here. So I think it sort of strengthens what I said earlier about when you're crossing over to the other islands. I think the morning is probably better. I think you'll find it's generally not as rough. So this has got H on it, so I guess this was obviously a helicopter landing place, but it looks a bit derelict now. So a nice place to get some videos and photographs, I think. So I guess this was probably the old harbour where the boats used to come in. But now the boats that go over to the other islands more up on the beach than on the other side over there. As is a lot of time in Indonesia, when you get onto a boat, you have to wade in the water first of all, yeah? Maybe it was damaged in a storm, yeah? If anyone knows, please leave your comments. It'd be great to hear. Dugongs there, traditional Indonesian boats. So walking back towards Sunrise Beach. Nice little temple there. Museum Lamaya. Nice and cool in here at the sun. Sort of local vendors selling literally everything, drink-wise, noodles. Interesting building.